What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another trailer reaction and breakdown. And today we are talking about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and I believe this is going to be coming out on Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas to y'all, and hopefully you guys are having a good holiday and everyone's treating you good, and hopefully Santa's treating you well as well. But this movie is from the legendary director Christopher Nolan, and if you guys missed yesterday, there was an Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer that finally got released, so breakdown for that came out yesterday, and this movie might even be coming out on Christmas Day, and that review might have come out on Christmas Eve. Who knows? It's a busy week, so I'm going to try and do my best for y'all. But this film I would watch on Christmas Day, I would watch on my birthday, I would watch on the moon, I would watch this movie anywhere, just because it looks phenomenal. And there's people online, don't believe the hate, they're just trying to hate on things to be hateful, and unfortunately hate gets more traction than liking something. So I refuse to bend. I will not be somebody that's negative just for the sake of negativity so somebody clicks on my video. If you don't like me, fuck you. I don't give a damn if you don't like me. I'm gonna remain talking about the things I enjoy and the things I like and the things that I'm interested in. And one of those things has to be The Odyssey. So why don't we click on this video and get right on into it. But this movie's starring Matt Damon, of course, from director Christopher Nolan, Universal Studios, Syncopy, I think that's his, studio. But we open on shots of a battlefield, wasted. Matt Damon's character voices.
After years of war, no one could stand between my men and home. Not even me.
From director Christopher Nolan. Oh boy, this is already looking epic. Like, he comes up and it opens on shots of a war-torn battlefield, and it looks like there's just shallow graves for all the men that have just died here. And he walks up to a man that has a golden spinal vertebrae on the back of his helmet, and he turns around and everyone was like, the cheekbones on the helmet look stupid. You try to make that helmet and tell me that it looks dumb. Like, that is not only craftsmanship that is very hard to do, it's probably period accurate, and it looks fucking incredible. It's black, it's got the gold, trim detail, the gold buckles on the dress, the black mohawk, the black, like, if anything, you could see the red mohawk's good guy, the bad guy, I think that's really the only symbolism you're supposed to see here. I don't think the guy with the black mohawk is a good guy. Like, if he was a good guy, you'd probably be able to see his eyeballs right now. And people are saying that might be Benny Safdie as a character, playing that character there, and I think his name is Agamemnon. There's going to be some tough names in this trailer for sure, in this movie, but it is what it is. This is a story, the Iliad, the Odyssey, I think from 3,000 years ago, and it's still getting told today, and it's an epic story, and it looks like our boy Odysseus, Matt Damon, is leading a group, and he's like, listen, we can't, after years of war, my men, no one can stand between my men and home. And they cut to shots of a giant, stone building on top of a mountain. Maybe this is Greece or Rome or something like that. But we cut to shots of his home and his family and his son, played by Tom Holland, and his wife Penelope, played by Anne Hathaway. Fucking love this already. Just like, that's the one family dynamic we know so far, is them three, and I'm already so here for it. But we see shots that look like it was shot really at night on a real boat with real guys paddling in the storm, and he's just interesting that, like, he's the leader of their men, and he's like, nothing could stand between my men and home, even me. And oh god. So I think this journey is supposed to be Odysseus and his men went to battle, and now it's the long, harrowing journey home and all the things they face on the way there. And apparently in this story, there's like real, you know, there's like cyclopses and mythical stuff going on. And I don't think, you know, from a shot that we're about to see, I don't think Christopher Nolan's leaning away from that stuff at all. And if anything, he's leaning into it. And it's going to be fucking so sick. But on to this next shot, a opening on a beautiful shot for the second half of the trailer.
Promise me you will come back. What if I can't?
Ooh, already July 17th, 2026. I am hype. Hype I am. Fuck. Jesus Christ, this movie looks so sick. Just the start of that second half of the trailer, we see this insane shot of a guy on horseback and a bunch of other men trying to pull what is got to be the Trojan horse stuck in the sand, out of the sand, you know, like insane. And then we cut to shots of Odysseus and his men on the inside of the Trojan horse. And for a second, I think one of those guys looks like Anthony Ramos. I could be mistaken though. But a man standing there looks like he gets stabbed through his arm, and he's like, you know, pissed. But everyone on the inside's like, you know, if he makes a noise, everyone gets found out. So I think the hand that reaches up and grabs the man's mouth to stop him from screaming is Jon Bernthal's character. And the only reason I say that is because he's jacked and he's got a bald ass head and a big old bushy beard. And from the one shot of Jon Bernthal from this movie, that's how he looks. So they're in the Trojan horse, and the other guys are stabbing into it for some reason to maybe make sure there's nothing on the inside. And I don't know, if that guy pulls his sword back out, there's gonna be blood on it, right? Is that how they get caught? But then we see Odysseus leading his men into like this cave, and it looks like a giant cyclops comes charging at them, and all the men kind of like, oh boy, what the fuck is that? And like you could see Matt Damon or Odysseus's face looking up at it like, what the fuck are we doing here? And we see them running down a hillside as there's ships in the water, so maybe they're fleeing somewhere. And then we see them in this like gray, hazy, and dark area, and he's like, you know, fishing around the sand, and then all of a sudden out of this black sand men rise up out of it, and he looks kind of startled, as this looks like the army of the dead, maybe, you know, maybe the real afterworld, you know, or afterlife type shit. What is this story going to be? You know, comment below if you know anything about the Odyssey, the book. Me personally, I have not read it, and I'm not a big reader as is, but might have to. I might have to get into something like that. If anybody has a good translation, you know, because I know those books are in Latin and stuff, so, you know, you need to have a written copy that's, like, translated by somebody, and there's tons of different translations. So if anyone has any particular one to recommend, drop that down in the comment section below. But this summer, my boy Odysseus, he's going to be on this like wooden boat sailing across the open seas, and they look like they're stuck in a hell of a storm, or at least an angry sea, and they're trying to paddle, and then they're just trying to find their way home, and they might all die in the process. And she's just like, you know, his wife Penelope, Anne Hathaway, is just like, promise me you'll come back. And he's like, what if I can't, you know? And like it seems like he already knows before he even leaves how much trouble in pain and like how much of a problem this journey is about to be, you know? Like, interesting, man. I think this is going to be an adventure movie. I think it's going to be a Greek epic, you know, like just like that's an epic poem. I think this is like going to be an epic movie that only Christopher Nolan could capture and do, and thank God he is, because the cast in this is ridiculous. I mean, not shown in this trailer, Rob fucking Pattinson's also a part of this, you know, and just like the armor in like the ships, in the vibes that's happening here, Tom Holland and Hathaway, you know, like the I think that's Roman with the big red mohawk, you know, like, but crazy. And then who's that guy with the black mohawk and the golden spinal cord on his back, or like the vertebrae on the back of his head? And I don't know, that's a sick poster too. That looks awesome. But like, who is that guy? You know what I mean? Like, is that Benny Safdie? Is that Pattinson maybe? Maybe not, but is it somebody else entirely? It's not Safdie, it's not Pattinson. Maybe it's the guy who plays Tonawari in the Avatar movies, the Avatar Way of Water and Fire and Ash. It kind of looks like him to me, but, you know, who knows? Maybe it's Benny Safdie. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about the Odyssey and everything we talked about in this trailer here, and your thoughts about the book or the movie, the cast. You know, are you excited? What is your favorite Christopher Nolan movie to date? And do you think the Oppenheimer will, you know, take that title away from whatever movie currently holds that? I think for me, my #1 Christopher Nolan movie will always be The Dark Knight, but #2 at the current moment is probably the Oppenheimer. So at least #2, I think the Odyssey has a very easy and good chance to take that out. I just did Tenet recently, so I'll drop a link for Tenet movie review, came out, you know, so just something recently that I was talking about Christopher Nolan's work. And over the last couple years, I've done a bunch of movie reviews. I did like the Memento, you know, so I've done almost all of Christopher Nolan's films. But I think, you know, movie reviews I need to do on the channel still for him are probably like Inception, The Following. I've seen Inception, but I haven't seen Following. But seeing Memento for the first time, that was a trippy fucking movie. And this guy just loves to make little mind-fucky movies, especially after, like, Tenet, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, yeah, I just want to mess with your brain a little bit. And then he at least went on to do Oppenheimer, and that was just incredibly well done. Great cast, long movie, but just so well done that you were like, I can't not love it, you know? And, like, it created this phenomenon of Barbenheimer, you know, so depending on when Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out, if it comes out in June, it's probably going to be alongside Supergirl, but if it comes out in July, we're going to have like a brand new Odyssey. I don't know. We're going to have 2 Tom Holland movies, though, starring in the month of July, if that's the case. But I'm excited. July 17th, 2026. I will see y'all then for another movie review coming out for the Odyssey. And if there's any more trailers coming out between now and then, I'll definitely react to it on the channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts, though. Comment below or send them to me on my other social media about the Odyssey. Links for those down in the description below. And if you made it this far into the video and you would like to support me and the channel, the best way of doing that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss future trailer reactions or Odyssey content, and you'll get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name's Big Cam, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace!